A country's history cannot be erased. Its impact reverberates throughout time. Children learn a rhyme in elementary school to remember the name Christopher Columbus and when our great nation was discovered. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Yet the statue of Columbus is in danger. Protests call for his statue to be removed because of the diseases and concept of slavery that he brought to the Western world. The historical impact of Columbus' discovery will live on with or without a statue. History is supposed to reveal a society's pitfalls, yet one cannot learn from history without the hindsight that comes from studying and reflecting on key moments and people in our society. Confederate statues are under attack. There are plans to take down 718 statues. However, this will not change history, and mistakes that have impacted our culture and country today. Debates or political correctness or offensiveness of statues have called even the Washington Monument and Mount Rushmore into question. There is even a controversy surrounding a bust of Lincoln recently found burned and obscenities being spray painted on the Lincoln Memorial. All our country statues are now being questioned. Is the removal just or filled with charged emotions? The call for removal of figures of Robert E. Lee are based on his fight for the Confederacy, but it fails to note that Lee felt compelled to fight for the Confederacy because he could not bring himself to take up arms against Virginia, his home state, and even felt slavery was a moral and political evil. We cannot assume all monuments associated with the Confederacy should be torn down without looking more closely at the individual monuments in question. The removal of Robert E. Lee's statue in the Turtle Creek area of Dallas has cost the city $500,000. If that is the cost of one removal, imagine the estimates of 718. Assuming each statue removal costs 1% of the Robert E. Lee statue removal, it will cost approximately $3.6 million. This does not even include the original cost of the statues. Even worse, we may lose important historical monuments such as Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore brings around 3 million tourists to its location annually. The revenue brought in by this monument is approximately $74 million a year. Not only does this monument affect our economy, it affects our civil rights. The reason for the emergency removal of Robert E. Lee was due to the protests and rallies that focused around it. Measures were taken to prevent further incident, yet this solution was ultimately ineffective, as its removal incited pro-statue rallies, with several participants exercising the right to open carry. Protesting is a freedom we cherish as Americans. 895 citizens were asked, "Do you think statues honoring leaders of the Confederacy should remain, be removed, or unsure?" 62% voted for them to remain, 27% for them to be removed. 11% were unsure. These statues are a testament to our freedom as a people. Confederate soldiers died in a war that history has determined they were on the wrong side of. African Americans died on both sides of the Civil War. Those that fought for the Confederates fought for their individual freedoms, and those in the Union for the freedom of all people. Taking down Confederate statues will make the mistake of our history taboo, eliminating the conversation about the liberation of African Americans in our country. Don't take away their freedoms they fought so hard to win. Freedoms of religion, speech, press, assembly, and the right to vote. Freedom to have a statue of men that fought and died in a war that were pitted against their brothers, fathers, and their sons. The decision to remove historical monuments should be one of deliberation and thought, and not just reactions to outbursts of vandalism and lawlessness.
Created using Powtoon.